Good morning. Today's lesson is on credit cards. I'm going to be brief because it's self-explanatory. You're going to go through your PDN. When you go through your PDN, you're going to use any major credit card. You could use like a store credit card, like a TJ Maxx card. You can use like a Discover card, Capital One. There are a lot of different card brands you can use to get through your PDN. Once you complete your PDN, you need to read through the statement and answer the questions that follow. And then finally, go through your independent practice quiz. We have two more learning days, and then Friday is your luncheon, your virtual luncheon. So let's get to it. Lesson 8, credit cards. So applying for a credit card, the cost. You have your annual percentage rate, right? So how much annually is it going to take out? You have grace period. You have annual fees. You have transaction fees. So if I use my card somewhere, what's the additional fee attached? Balance and computation method for the finance charge. And then features, you have your credit limit, right? So maybe the limit is $5,000. So you can use up to that amount and then you can't go over that. How widely is the card accepted? You would want a card like I have a Capital One travel card because at the time I applied, I was traveling to different countries frequently, and I was tired of calling my bank asking for approval, right? So what services and features are available? So the average daily balance, you will basically pay interest on the average balance owed during the billing cycle. The creditor figures the balance in your account on each day of the billing cycle. Then they add together that amount and they divide it by the number of days in the billing cycle. So same way you find mean in Miss Higgins' class, that's how you would find the mean of the daily balance of your credit card. You would add it all up and then divide by the number of days in the cycle. So your adjusted balance, you pay interest on the opening balance after you subtract that payment or returns made during the month. So you would pay interest on your $5,000 balance, but that would be after you subtract that payment you made. So if you paid $200 that month, you would do it from that new sum. Previous balance, you pay interest on opening balance regardless of payments made during the month. So you just pay on that opening balance. And then past due balance, no finance charges added if the full payment is received within the grace period. If it is not received, a finance charge for the unpaid amount is added onto your next bill. So essentially with credit, you're just always borrowing. So I remember when I was younger, people were like, oh, don't get a credit card because it's just all borrowed money. That is not true. Credit is like your grown-up report card. It's how people know they can trust you to give you a loan, home loan or a car loan. You would want to do those things. Yes, it's nice to be able to be in a predicament to pay everything off at once. But for most of society, that's just not the case. So you would really want to take your balance very seriously. So this example of finance charges, right? So your monthly average daily balance, 1.5%. Previous balance, 1.5%. Okay. So average daily balance is $250. That's $3.75, which is 1.5% times 250. Okay. So that would be your average daily balance of spending. Okay. So maybe you would just for that, like $20 at the end of the week. So, comparing credit cards, you need to look at the type of the account, the annual fee, the grace period, the APR, which is the annual percentage rate you're paying, the credit limit, minimum monthly payment, right? So, how much do you need to pay monthly? Okay. So maybe it says, well, at the very least, your bill is going to be $100 a month. Finance charge calculation method, late payment fee, other fees, and other features. What to do if you're denied credit, okay? If you think the reasons for the denial are valid, ask the creditor if you can provide additional information or arrange alternate credit terms. Apply to another creditor whose standards may be different. Do the things you need to do to improve your credit worthiness. Pay bills on time, increase income, reduce spending, obtain a secured card, and then reapply. So these are all the steps you would take. I've been denied plenty of times because when I was in college, y'all, I was trying to apply to all the cards, which is terrible because it decreases your credit card score every time you do that. You can rebuild it, but it's still going to decrease it overall. If you are not sure whether the reason for the denial is valid, ask the creditor to explain why you were denied. Review your credit history. If you find your credit history has errors, you take the steps. So let's say, like for me, I had a lot of medical bills, but I was able to dispute a good amount of those. So you want to really look into it and see how you can get those off your credit. If you believe the reason for the denial is invalid and the other creditor has discriminated against you, notify the federal enforcement agency whose name you were given by the creditor. The federal enforcement agency will investigate and report back to you. And if you can afford it, you can actually hire an attorney to file a suit against that creditor. If the court determines they did discriminate, they will be required to pay you damage plus, I'm about to do that when I get off of here, plus damages and punitive damages. So how to read a statement. You have some work like this. Is that why I can zoom in? Oh, that didn't work. So anyway, you would look at the name, the account number. Their statement is due on 2/13. Payment is due on March 9th. When they say statement due, that's just when you're going to receive the statement. Credit line, $1,200. Credit available, $1,074. Oh, so this person is doing really well. They have a very low balance. You want to keep all your balances below 30%. What do you mean by balance? So let's say I gave you a $5,000 credit card, right? You would want to keep your balance. That's not even like, let's see, 500 maybe. Like you just want to keep it really low. You want to keep it less than 30%. You can see the transactions that posted here. Minimum payment due. You can see all the extra charges they have here. And then you can see the percentage purchases. Okay. Then you also see how to call and report if anything is wrong with your card. So these are just from facts. Fair Credit Billing Act sets up a procedure for the quick correction of mistakes that appear. So you can challenge and go back and forth with the mistakes. You must dispute the item within 60 days. These are important to know because a lot of people think if they have something on their credit, they're just stuck. And that's just not the case. This Billing Act guarantees that you're able to challenge the credit company. Prompt credit for payment. A card issuer must credit your account on the day the issuer receives payment. Refunds of credit balances. Unauthorized charges, right? So if your card is lost or stolen, you can call in and report that as well. Read and understand the contract. You want to read those carefully. I'm not good with breaking those down like I should be. So I actually have a friend who majored in finance in college, and I always send it their way to make sure it's a good choice for me in the end. Never borrow more than 20% of your yearly net income. So if your net income is $400 a month, then your net income in 1 year is $4,800. Right? So 20%, a safe amount to borrow would be $960. You might say, oh, but I'm just borrowing. The reason being is because if you go over that, you're going to be severely in debt and it's going to take that long to pay it off. Okay. Monthly payment shouldn't exceed 10% of your monthly net income. So $40 if you were to make $400 a month. Okay. That is basically it. So just remembering the 20-10 rule, you don't want to go over 20%. You don't want to go over 20% of your yearly income, 10% of your monthly income. Okay. These are all good to know. Your Google form should be fairly easy for you today. It's going to let you know when it's going to present your answers as soon as you submit it. And have a great day.